Hey, I'm Joseph CM. I'm trying to put up this video in an effort to help students and even teachers with this basic operation, which is direct proportion and inverse proportion. Um, I use a certain method for direct proportion. I call it cross multiply, and inverse proportion, you can use what is known as a straight multiply. Well, those are my terms. And once you know the idea of how to use direct and inverse proportions in problem solving, you can do even complicated problems in an easier manner. So this is how we do it. For a direct proportion, what is a direct proportion? When one goes up, the other goes up. When one goes down, the other goes down. That's called direct proportion. In such a case, we do cross multiplication. So what we do is you put arrows like that, and this is our variable. So the problem is this. At 2 atmosphere pressure, the temperature is 300 Kelvin, or vice versa. And at 600 Kelvin, what should be the pressure? So this is a direct proportion. And so we do cross multiply like this. And then all you do is just start from the left-hand top corner and then go following the arrows. So 2 times 600 is equal to x times 300. So you can see that x turns out 4 atmospheres. This is called direct proportion. And over here, we talk about inverse proportion. So for inverse proportion, you do the straight multiply. I'll explain to you this. Now, what is inverse proportion? When one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. So this is called an inverse proportion. For that, what you do is put arrows, straight arrows, and then start from the left-hand top corner and just follow these arrows. 2 times 3 is equal to x times 10. And so you get x as 0.6 atmospheres. So we solve problems by just using this simple concept. Now I'll explain to you how the same idea of direct and inverse proportion can be used to tackle a complicated problem. Here is another problem. And this problem goes like this. If 10 men working 6 hours per day build 2 walls in 4 days, then in how many days will 20 men working 8 hours a day take to build 3 similar walls? Now this kind of problem is really complicated for many students, and I've seen students struggling with this kind of situation. And I've seen even teachers struggling to explain this to the students. So here is a straightforward method using my cross multiplication and straight multiplication. So what we do is we put the men, walls, how many walls, hours per day, and the number of days, just put them and build the columns. So we put 10, and the number of walls 2, and the number of hours 6, and the number of days 4. And the second condition is 20 men working 8 hours per day, 3 similar walls. How many days will it take? Now this can be a very tricky problem if you do any other way. Now here's a fast and short way of doing it. Now you can see this. If there are more men, you can build more walls. So it's a direct proportion. So we do cross multiplication between this quantity and this quantity. So you don't have to look at all the quantities. Just take 2 quantities only at a time. Walls, hours per day. If you work more number of hours per day, you automatically will build more walls. So this is also direct proportion, so cross multiply. And hours per day versus days. If you work fewer hours per day, you'll take more number of days to complete a certain task. So this is an inverse proportion, because when one goes up, the other goes down. So because it's inverse proportion, we use a straight multiplication. So you can see the difference between direct, cross, inverse, straight. And after that, the problem is simple. Start from the left-hand top corner. 10 times 3. Just follow the arrows. Just follow the arrows. 10 times 3 times 6 times 4. That's why I've written down 10 times 3 times 6 times 4 is equal to 20 times 2 times 8 times x. and then you simplify both sides, we get x as 9 over 4, which is 2.25 days. This is the fastest way of doing these kind of problems. The problem can be really complicated. You can include more variables. If there are more variables, you just add one more column and then do the same thing. So this is the fastest way of doing it. Hopefully students and teachers are helped with this video. Thank you.